Yeah, get a winning record. That's
Absolutely.
a good point. And BYU swimmer Payne Sorensen set a record while suffering from bronchitis, the fastest 50 free in the nation, 1919. What's your greatest accomplishment while being sick?
That's pretty easy. Making myself lunch.
I was going to say, yeah, me going upstairs or downstairs.
We're wimps when it comes to it. We're not setting any records for this.
Exactly. We're the worst. Compelling, crazy stuff. That's BYU Sports Nation in a minute, presented by the BYU Store.
I take the road less traveled, run free, unwind, unravel, someplace outside with lots to do. Green trees, red rocks, and don't forget that blue sky. The sunshine shining, sunshine pouring on me. Think I might just stay a while. Say hooray all day because the sun's gonna shine on me, sun's gonna shine on me, sun's gonna shine on me.
You're watching BYU TV on KBYU DT Provo, Salt Lake City.
Coming up on BYU Basketball with Dave Rose, it's our season debut with the Cougs in the middle of a 3-game in-state stretch. We've got the coach, Yoli Childs, and TJ Haas joining us here in Studio C to break it down as BYU Basketball with Dave Rose starts now.
Inside, he scores with 2 seconds. It is all over. Off the dribble. That was nasty. Jimmer from 40 feet.
I think this is a really tough, hard-nosed group of guys that are giving it all they have.
Connor Euro step into the alley, bank and score. Connor Harding. It's back to TJ, another 3 again. TJ Haas, right? Lobs it up for Yo. Yo throws it down with the right hand.
This is BYU Basketball with Dave Rose, presented by Siegfried and Jensen. Live from Studio C in Provo, Utah, with your host, the voice of the Cougars, Greg Wrubell.
Well, good evening, Cougar Nation. And for the first time this season, we welcome you inside the beautiful BYU Broadcasting building in Provo for our weekly hour-long look inside the BYU basketball program on BYU TV and BYU Radio. And you can be a part of the show by using the hashtag Rose Show on Twitter and the BYU TV Sports Facebook and Instagram accounts. If you have a question for Coach Rose or our player guests, send them on in, and we'll get to them later on in the show. Well, I'm on our basketball court set here, joined by the head coach of the Cougars, Dave Rose, and the season's already a few weeks old, but as for the show, here we go.
First one, and I'm glad that we got the field replaced with the court, and surprised me. I thought Jerem Jordan would have a table right here with the awards from last year's
show, because it was an award-winning show. Yeah. So kudos to you on that one.
Navi to you. It's your show.
It's team effort.
A team effort.
Yeah. We're 9 games into the season already as we start the show, and you're 5-4, 5-1 start, and then a rare rough patch for you guys the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, we're in the midst of a tough stretch right here, and people all ask, what do you need? What do you need? We need to win. That's what we need to do. And I think that, that game at Illinois State will haunt us for a while. Houston handled us pretty good. They really exposed us in some ways, and that we need to, find some answers to. And then the game the other night at Weber State was, we played well. We just we had no answer for them defensively. And the guys understand that, they called a meeting, the captains called a meeting with the players, and that doesn't happen very often, especially this early in the season, especially for us. But I think what that explains to me is that they understand the expectation, and they understand that, we need to do better, and we need to rely more on each other. And so I was proud of Luke and TJ and, the way they handled that. And hopefully, we can see some results. But it doesn't get any easier, that's for sure.
True enough. You referenced both those last 2 losses, Illinois State and Weber State on the road. Let's take a brief look back at last week of Cougar basketball and a first ever visit for BYU to Redbird Arena in Normal, Illinois. And BYU did push this thing, Coach, to a 14-point lead at one point in the second half.
Yeah, the second half, and then we had some actual possessions where we could have increased that lead, and we just didn't execute offensively very well at that time. And then they got really hot. We had a hard time matching up with them. We tried to switch some things, and then they got really hot at the free throw line. I think it was a 63% free throw shooting team, and they shot 95% or something, made, you know, a bunch down the stretch. But we had the game won. We were up 2, and we got the miss, and then all we need to do is corral the rebound, and then we win that thing. But it goes to overtime, and you know, we're just a few possessions short in this thing, and they hit some big shots. I mean, it's Copeland hits some big shots, but this shot here is one that lets you know that you know, things were going their way. Bounced it up.
Crazy ricochet.
Used all the equipment to get that one in, but we fought hard, and you know, the guys were in a position to win that thing. Had a great look right here to tie. They could go up 2, and we missed and then have to foul. But
and a couple looks at the end of overtime as well.
Yeah, you know, we had a nice little play called there, and they went zone, and so it changed it up. But we still got 2 looks at it, and you know, could have put it into the double overtime. But and I'll tell you, that was a disappointed group in that locker room, and I didn't really know how we'd respond to the Weber game. And you know, sometimes it takes a little time to kind of get that out of you, and I don't think we were as sharp at Weber as we're capable, especially on the defensive end. And I think maybe we had a little bit of a hangover from the Illinois State game.
The Illinois State stats are brought to you by Nissan Intelligent Mobility. Now, the most exciting tech you own is in your driveway, and it was a 3-point loss out there in Illinois. And then from there, it was up to Ogden. You've talked about it already, going up and playing Weber State. And you're actually looking for, it's crazy to think about, you're looking for a 16th straight win as a program over Weber State.
Yeah, and there's been some really good players and really good games over the years, and this was another one. I mean, I thought that, you know, Weber State, you know, played well. They got a little foul trouble, and then we kind of got a 6-8 point lead. And then we had 2 or 3 possessions then with that lead that we got good stops, and then, you know, we kind of wasted them away on the offensive end. And we actually go in halftime down a point. But in that second half, they really got going. Not only, you know, hitting shots from the perimeter, but they just really drove us, and they got, you know, into the core of our defense. And then as we helped and tried to close out, their athleticism really caused us problems.
We see in these highlights for our TV audience, Yoli Childs, whose range has been extended here in his junior season, able to do work both outside and down low for you. He had
a really efficient offensive game. Scored 31 points, I think, on 15, 17 shots, something like that. But you know, we were outmatched when it came to their athleticism on the perimeter, and it just caused us a lot of problems.
Doing the best you could to kind of stay within shouting distance toward the end, but they would just kind of get a make every time they needed one.
Yeah, we got to cut to 6, and you know, thought that maybe we could get one more stop, hit a 3, then we might be able to get it, you know, to a single possession and have a chance to, you know, maybe get it to overtime or pull it out in regulation. But a lot of points being scored, and you look at the field goal percentage, that might be the highest field goal percentage with a loss in a long time, you know, because usually when we shoot the ball and score that well, we win the game, and that wasn't the case.
Yeah, following up on that note, you had such a good offensive number on the night. You know all about points per possession, and BYU was right at 1.20 points per possession. That's almost always good enough to win. In fact, your teams were 116-0 at 1.2 or better. So rare that you would lose that kind of game, because they were even better than you were that night.
Yeah, and in the second half, I think they were close to 1.6 points per possession. They missed quite a few threes in the first half. But I think that's was the rallying cry from our team, is that, my goodness, we're supposed to win this game. What's the issue? And I think they understand that we need to be way more connected as a group. We need to be better, you know, defensively. We need to be better, you know, out of bounds under plays. We need to be better, you know, in set plays, transition. What I really felt like is that the game got going fast early in the game, and our guys like that, but they were scoring in transition, and then I think we kind of flipped the switch and said, okay, if this is how you want to play, then we'll just try to outscore you. And that's really hard to do on the road. And you score 103 points, you probably should win the game. And you know, so you know, there's another disappointment. And now the guys are trying to deal with that. And in this stretch where all these games are so emotional with these in-state rivals, it's going to be a real test for our guys. They're kind of an intestinal fortitude together as a group of how we're going to rally and play a team, right now that, really wants to beat us and really is playing well.
Playing great. That's Utah State, followed by Utah. So 2 more in-state games coming up. That was the week that was, by the way, last week for the Cougs. Well, for your day-to-day Cougar sports play-by-play, watch BYU Sports Nation with Spencer Linton and Jerem Jordan weekdays at noon Eastern on BYU TV and BYU Radio. Tomorrow, the guys chat with freshman quarterback Zach Wilson. Taking our first break, as we do, looking for an even more convenient way to shop at Smith's. You should try Smith's Click List. Order online, then pick up curbside by the store. Visit smithsfoodanddrug.com for details. Coming up, BYU's in-state stretch continues with games against Utah State and Utah. We look ahead to those games next as BYU Basketball with Dave Rose continues on BYU TV and BYU Radio.
Well, I did it again. Perfect dinner, weird toy for Kate. Even Nana's happy, and Nana hates everything. Oh, and I earned triple rewards while doing it. Time to treat myself.
Visa Triple Rewards from Mountain America on all purchases through December 31st.
Don't worry, Dad. Mama's got rewards.
Be a holiday hero with Visa Triple Rewards from Mountain America.
You're watching Super Tuesday on BYU TV, presented by Siegfried and Jensen.
Blue runs deep on BYU TV. Watch BYU take on Utah State live tomorrow at 9 Eastern, 7 Mountain on BYU TV. Watch all of your favorite BYU teams on BYU TV, your home for Cougar sports.
Stages are set with a host of holiday hits for everyone. First, get your dancing shoes ready as Grammy Award-winning Train brings you holiday jams you'll love. Then enjoy Christmas classics by CMA Award-winning group, The Band Perry. And don't miss an anticipated holiday tradition as the Mormon Tabernacle Choir celebrates Christmas with music, stories, and special guests. 3 concerts to immerse you in the spirit of the season. December on BYU TV.
I'm Blaine Fowler from After Further Review, and you're watching BYU TV. See the good.
Welcome back to BYU Basketball with Dave Rose, presented by Siegfried and Jensen. Here's our broadcast schedule for the week. The Cougars continuing their run of in-state games Wednesday night, tomorrow night, hosting Utah State live on BYU TV and BYU Radio. Pre-game 8 Eastern on the radio. Then Saturday, Cougs play the Utes at the Beehive Classic at Vivint Smart Home Arena. That'll be 2 o'clock Eastern on ESPNU and BYU Radio. And our radio pregame begins 1 hour before tip at 1 o'clock Eastern time. And tomorrow night, right next door at the Marriott Center, it is BYU and Utah State. The Cougars looking for a 7th straight win over the Aggies. The Ags are off to a 7-1 start to the season and ranked, Dave, right now 18th in the NCAA's latest net rankings. They're playing well.
They've been playing really well, and I think I think everybody is really impressed with their offensive stats, but their defensive stats are really impressive. They're out-rebounding their opponents by 14, which is in the top 10 in the country. And he's got, Craig's got a group of guys that are really hungry, and they're playing so well together. And then you can't just play hard. You have to play well. And Sam Merrill is playing as good as any player is in the country. 50% from the field, 45% from 3, 90% from the free throw line, and he's carrying his team offensively, and everybody seems to be rallying around him. So we got a challenge, and our guys are excited for it, and we look forward to, a good crowd in the Marriott Center tomorrow.
Ags currently 6th nationally in field goal percentage, defense, and they're playing well on offense, as we talked about. And a couple of guys but then there are enough new parts, too, that bring a real different look to them this year.
Yeah, it's, as far as all in-state games, you know a lot of their players just simply because everybody has some common recruiting opponents, and their point guard is that 2 brothers play here and a dad play here, so
that's Crew Ainge.
That's Crew Ainge. So I think that all of our players are pretty acquainted with what they've done. I hope that our guys understand. And we've done a good job of preparing them. And Coach Lewis and Coach Lacombe and Coach Camard have done a terrific job this week. And hopefully the things that we've worked on and that we've prepared, that we can execute them, do well with them.
So after Utah State tomorrow, it's Utah on Saturday. Second edition of the Beehive Classic, the 4-team one-day event, now in its second installment. And after a lot of talk for a lot of years, it finally got off the ground last year.
Yeah, and I thought it was a fun event. It was a really exciting time. You know, Utah State played Utah in a close game, and then our game with Weber State, you know, in the second game last year went right down to the wire. So, you know, the one thing I would probably change about maybe the tip time. You say 2 o'clock Eastern. That's
you're going at noon here.
That's noon, and so that's an early wake up for you guys, and that means you don't have a normal game day. You don't have a shoot around, and so we'll worry about that after our game tomorrow. But those early starts sometimes can cause some real anxiety as far as getting your guys going and getting ready to play. But in a rivalry game, shouldn't be a problem. We'll see.
Yeah, you know, we always go first things first and one game at a time here. But if you do peek ahead to the weekend, you see a team in Utah, Coach, that's been really kind of up and down. They've alternated wins and losses in every game this year. Yeah, and you know, they're trying to find their group because they've replaced so many guys and they have so many new guys. And it seems like every game there's a different lineup. I've been able to see a couple of their games, and so we'll see what they settle in on. I didn't get to see the Tulsa game or how they played last week, but I know they were able to, you know, win that game, and they got a lot of practice time. You know, they don't play a midweek game, so they'll be ready for us. I'm sure of that, but I know what our guys. I think our guys are more excited to play a game on Wednesday than wait a whole week, especially the situation that we're in right now. Okay. Of course, this week is the week you get Nick Emery back in uniform for the first time in a long time. And how's he looking? And what's reasonable to expect in Nick's return to the team and to the floor? Well, he looks great, and he's practiced, you know, with us all year and during the summer. And I think that. You know, you never knew what the situation was going to be with our team when he was coming back on the, you know, the 10th game, and now that, you know, it looks like we really need a lift and some help. Hopefully, we don't put too much pressure on him, and he hasn't played for, you know, a full season in games, and a lot of things have happened, you know, in his life as far as his, you know, his marriage and divorce and. A lot of the personal issues that he's gone through, and hopefully that he just gets to come and have fun. He wants to help our team in any way he can. That's kind of been the discussion that we've had over the last year and a half. And, you know, he had an opportunity to do anything he wanted as far as leaving and transferring. He withdrew from school, and when he came back to me and said, "Hey, I want to play here, and this is where I want to finish my career." You know, there's a lot of things that played into that and that decision, and he knows he made a lot of mistakes and feels, you know, really bad for that. But I think he's learned so much, he's grown so much. I just want him to fit in. This is his home. He's going to live here, and didn't think it was fair to have him take off and go to another place and then, you know, come back and have to deal with that. I think that this will be a really good situation for our team and for Nick, and hopefully it turns out the way I kind of see it as far as the future is concerned. And that's the thing right there, is you hope that it's as good for him as it is for the team, and vice versa, that both parties really, you know, get what they want to get out of it. Yeah, and I think everyone will have their own opinion on, you know, what maybe I should have done. It's my decision. My administration supported that decision, but I do think that we've all kind of made mistakes and need a second chance. Well, it's tomorrow night that we get to see him back in blue and white, and that's an exciting thing. Well, BYU Basketball with Dave Rose is brought to you in part by UCCU. Founded on BYU's campus, Utah Community Credit Union has been helping people make smart decisions for over 60 years. Visit uccu.com today. Break time on the show. When we come back, it is time for some Q&A for the coach as BYU Basketball with Dave Rose continues.
BYU Basketball with Dave Rose is brought to you by Siegfried & Jensen, helping Utah families for over 25 years. And by Nissan, innovation that excites.
Dinner! Mom, no, I have a date tonight. And
hey, Sam.
Kim? What are you doing here?
I don't want you two lovebirds eating trash, so I invited her to dinner.
Mom, this is my ex-girlfriend.
I know. But I like her better. Plus, if you don't go out, you can save money.
BYU Meal Plans. Make your own choices.
TJ 3. Got it! TJ Haws! A three-pointer. Reverse lay-in by Jashir Hardnett. Hardnett for 3. And that's good! Line pass to Childs, who throws it down. Yoeli Childs got up to throw it down. With a one-hand throwdown. And the Cougars win it! And the Cougars win it!
Everybody, smile. My character is Dwight. I'm Dwight. Dwight. Model citizen. Nicest kid around, always doing things for other people. You helping with a school fundraiser? Sure am.
Mortal enemy or harmless peasant? Princess Greta is a Gothic warrior princess from 1,000 years ago.
You have the honor of addressing Princess Greta, the besieged. I am her court magician, Baldric. He is responsible for casting the champion spell. This is the champion we've been waiting for.
We're watching your every move.
Hexala is a little bit of an enigma. I like to keep her that way.
Curious.
This is the happiest day of my life.
Clodwig?
My full title is actually Prince Clodwig the Unstable, because I'm known to be semi-volatile.
There aren't too many shows out there these days that everyone can watch and enjoy. And I think this will certainly be one.
Regulation. Let's go, coach. Right here. Start.
Lee Camard, assistant men's basketball coach from Mesa, Arizona. LeBron James or Michael Jordan, MJ for sure. Favorite movie, Count of Monte Cristo, bucket list place to go. The Great Wall of China, secret talent, I don't have one. Which staff member still has game? Right here. Biggest fear, losing somebody close to me. Superpower I would choose, Superman. Teammate I wouldn't mess with, Dalton Nixon. Favorite basketball player, Dennis Rodman. Most memorable basketball moment, good times at BYU.
It's good!
All right, welcome back to BYU Basketball with Dave Rose on BYU TV and BYU Radio. Reminder that you can join the conversation and ask questions of the coach and our weekly guests every week using hashtag Rose Show on Twitter, as well as the BYU TV Sports Facebook and Instagram accounts. Let's get right into some Q&A for Coach Rose this week, and we start in our studio audience with Kellen Knight. Hello, Kellen.
Hi, how's it going?
Good.
Coach, what are some of your favorite shooting drills you do with the guys to help simulate game situations?
You know, I think that we do a full court drill that I actually got from Roy Williams at North Carolina. And
so the drill is called?
It's called Carolina. Yeah. And we put 4 minutes on the clock, and we get 4 balls or 4 lines, and we got, 3 guys moving this way, 1 shooting a layup, and then there's a 3-point shot from each guys, and we got 3 guys running the other way, and it kind of goes continuously, and we try to get to 200. That's kind of a number. And last year we had a hard time. We were in the 175, 185. This year we get 200 almost every time. In fact, we've had the highest number ever, 229 the other day. So, and then the majority of those shots are all 3-point shots on the move, running full court back and forth. And we do it at the end of practice when their legs are a little bit tired. And hopefully we can kind of convert that from the practice, court onto the game court.
And it's still early enough in the season, Coach, that I still expect and hope that the numbers moderate and kind of match what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I think that as a staff, we realize that, when we get into those games where we're shooting 30 plus, that's probably too many. And like the other night, we shot 14, and that's probably not enough. We'll find the place where we need to be and hopefully be able to shoot the number that's good for us. When you have such a dominant offensive post player like Yoeli, you want to get the ball to him down there as much as you can. But, we've also got perimeter guys that are really capable of scoring, and hopefully we can find a rhythm there.
Okay, to social media for Coach. Brick Harris on Instagram says, with Nick Emery returning to the team, do you expect a change in style or tactics, or will he just fit into the system that's already in place?
That's what we're hoping, is that he fits into what we're doing and maybe just gives us a lift in some areas. He's a really good on-ball defender, and hopefully he can bring that to us and limit some of the rotations that we get into, especially like the other night that caused us some issues. He's got a unique strength to him, even though he's small as far as his height is concerned. and hopefully we can see some of those defensive results tomorrow night.
Okay, more social media at Tanner Lewis 11 on Twitter. Have you already extended a scholarship for Jimmer's baby boy to be?
Yeah, I saw that the other day and almost flew to Shanghai to get that done. But we've followed Jimmer's career, and I'm excited for he and Whitney, and I think that you know, he loves. I know he loves. You know, Wesley, but that boy's going to have some pressure on him, isn't he?
Yeah,
you know?
And if it's possible, by the way, Jimmer's game's getting better and better even as he plays longer and longer over there.
Well, he makes more baskets. I mean, it's unbelievable, the percentages that he shoots. And, you know, I think that I do know because, you know, we signed, you know, Big Lee, Shenzhen Lee, whose parents live in Shanghai, and he knows all about the Sharks and Jimmer, and he says that he's probably one of the most popular guys in the city, and that's a big city.
It's a big city to be in. Caleb Lemming on Facebook has a question for you. How do players learn, or how would you like them to learn to move without the ball on offense?
You know, there's so many things that you know, cause defensive problems, and that's one of the things that, you know, causes you the most problem when you got action going on both sides. It's one of the things that Utah State does really, really well, because you're so concerned about guarding that ball screen, and you use a player, but then so you got your other two guys in you know, an eye and kind of zoned up the backside, and then they're moving, and so that causes you know, a lot of issues for us. I think that it's natural, and some guys, JT was one of the best guys I think we've ever had at finding space to get an open shot when things would break down. And then there's other guys like Ty that you can call a set for and get him in motion, and the guy was as good as anybody we've ever had at just converting out of a call. So a lot of ways to get it done, and I think our guys are finding this offensive formula that works best for us, and you know, hopefully it'll result into some big wins here.
And one more Twitter question before the break from @HaydenManWallace, and the question is: do the rivalry games this week carry extra weight, or do they need to be treated like any other game?
Well, I think that, you know, you can say that they're, you know, just another game, and in a lot of ways it is, but there are some games that, you know, they last the whole season and the whole year, and that's what these games are, you know. And, you know, last year we were 4-0 in those games, and I can tell you these guys were proud of that, and it feels good when you get in situations with the other coaches or the other players at times, and I think that's the biggest difference in these games, is that the results of this game last for 300+ days.
Yeah. BYU 1-1 in the in-state game so far, with 2 more to come this week. Break time once again. When we return, it's the first of our 2 special guests for tonight. Guard TJ Haas joining us next here in Studio C. Stay with us.
If I got hurt and was laid up at home, I wouldn't even think to call a lawyer. What a hassle. I'd want to meet them first.
What if I told you that for your first consultation, your lawyer will come to you, home or hospital?
Really?
Really.
They do that?
If you've been seriously injured, we'll come to you. It's your job to get better. It's our job to deal with the insurance companies and protect your legal rights.
Learn more at siegfriedandjensen.com.
Wrapping up in a Minky Couture luxurious blanket. Getting cozy with family and friends. A gift for everyone. Minky Couture, official luxury blanket of BYU Athletics.
Sports, not my thing.
That's okay. You can watch Studio C.
How many of the field goals equate to a basket?
7.2.
I was not aware that there would be this much math in sports.
Me neither.
Is there a lot of running in baseball?
Yeah. It's like boxing. Spence and I feel like we're just the connection between BYU sports and the fans. It has meaning, right? BYU sports matters to people, so it's great to be a part of that.
welcome to life. Can I get you started with some education?
Charity! Charity! Tomato best, lobster best.
Dealer.
Illinois State 31. TJ right wing, 8-second shot clock. TJ, three-point range. Hesitation, spin on Evans, right to the rim, up and in again! TJ Haws, and on that bucket, it's 1,000 points for TJ.
Welcome back to BYU Basketball with Dave Rose, presented in part by the BYU Creamery, the classic BYU tradition. Have a scoop today. He's the 52nd and latest member of BYU's illustrious 1,000-point club, and he's our first guest on our first Rose show of the season. Please welcome in to Studio C, TJ Haws. TJ, good to have you. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
So what does it mean to not only be a 1,000-point scorer, but to join a brother and a father in the 1,000-point club?
I think it's a great honor to be on that list. There's a lot of great players on that list, but to be on there with my dad and my brother, I think that's something very special for us three and very cool to be a part of. Yeah, Marty and Tyler were already the only father-son duo in BYU history in that list. Now it's father-sons trio on the 1,000-point tally as TJ got there just last week. So congratulations to you on that. It's a big deal. It's been a little while, TJ, since BYU has last won a game. As a team captain right now, what's most important to you that this team kind of keep in mind at this time of the year? Yeah, you know, we've talked about as a team a few things that, you know, we can work on and get better. But, you know, I feel like the biggest thing that we need to improve on is our edge defensively, and, you know, just playing with a lot of passion and energy. I feel like we got away from that at the Weber State game, but I think we've had a couple great practices this week, and we're ready to go for tomorrow. Could you sense the edge slipping a little bit as it was happening? Yeah, you know, I felt like we had some moments in that game that, you know, it was just a little bit dead, but I feel like we're improving on that and trying to build better habits in practice. Coach Rose, what kind of team captain is TJ Haws?
Well, I think he's a guy who leads by example. I mean, he plays really consistent every day, hard in practice, and he's a pleaser as far as wanting to do what the coaches, you know, are kind of coaching him to do. And I think at the end of every practice, you can look to his effort as being, you know, consistent and one that you would want to have from all your players. At times, he's a vocal guy, but for probably the, you know, his comfortable personality is that he likes to kind of just do his thing, and I think that's a quiet leader can really be a real addition to you and help to you if their example is the way it needs to be. TJ, safe to say that BYU's got better shooters than maybe the early season numbers are showing. How much of what's happening is going to be just a matter of time and kind of maybe almost in a way maybe shooting yourselves out of it a little bit? Yeah, you know, I think this team's been together since June, and we've worked really hard this summer, and, you know, I thought all summer we shot the ball really well, and we've worked hard on our shooting. It has been surprising to me to see, you know, our percentage so far, but I feel like we have a lot of guys that are confident in their own game and confident in each other, and I think we're going to get out of this slump for sure. What's a typical number of off-season shots that you might take on a given day? Well, you know, this summer we shot 12,000 over the whole summer, 12,000 threes. We shot 300 a day. And that was just, you know, what we kept track of as a team. But, you know, everyone's shooting shots outside of that as well. So, you know. And coaches, I mean, there was a lot of tracking of these numbers going on, and the numbers were good, right? Yes, the numbers were very good, and you could see improvement each week, and you could see improvement when we were playing pickup and practicing. And so I think it's just a matter of time before that comes out and shows. We know what's in you. One of your former high school and, of course, current college teammates, Nick Emery, comes back tomorrow night. What can you say about Nick and what you hope his return brings to the team? I'm very excited to have Nick come back. He's going to be a huge addition to us, and I think we're going to feel his impact early. But, you know, Nick,
Something I've learned about Nick over the years is he's a winner, and really that's all he cares about. And so when he steps on the court, he's not interested in doing anything but winning, and he's going to do whatever it takes to just help our team win basketball games.
Does he look back to himself as a basketball player?
Yes, no, he looks really good, and he's been playing extremely well, and so I'm very excited to have him back.
Okay, stick around with us for our next segment. As we take a break, we'll tell you that if you're looking for an even more convenient way to shop at Smith's, you should try Smith's Click List. Order online and pick up curbside by the store. Visit smithsfoodanddrug.com for details. After the break, another member of BYU's 1,000-Point Club joining us as Yoli Childs checks in here in Studio C. BYU Basketball with Dave Rose continues on BYU TV and BYU Radio.
In the timeline of life, you make choices every day, like buying your first car, what a beaut, or serving your mission. You come home and hop right into college. And then that magic day comes, marriage. Getting married is incredible and pricey. But you know what? Children are even pricier. Your family grows and you need that first home. No matter where you are in the timeline of life, Deseret First Credit Union is right there with you. DFCU, your values, your timeline, your financial future.
Have a car wreck? Martin's Collision Repair.
The right repair, the right paint, the right choice. Martin's Collision Repair.
Tracy is drawing the first image. What?
You're busted.
She set you up. She fed us all the information.
You guys want to play?
When I walk out, can we have a bucket of glitter that just falls on top of me? Gentlemen!
You have been named in the late Mr. Holliday's will.
I do bequeath all of my worldly goods to him.
Call me Doc.
$20 million on the following conditions. That Donald has indeed married with a stable means of support and income.
I just need to make it look like I got a job.
That he can prove he is a good husband and father.
We're gonna be a pretend family. It's gonna be fun.
And has entirely forsaken his errant ways of the past. I'm looking forward to meeting your family.
Top of the key. Drives past Peterson, lost it on the bounce, got it back. Rye lobs it up for Yo. Yo throws it down with the right hand. That's 100 dunks in the BYU career of Yoli Childs. A century slam for Yoli.
We are back for more BYU basketball with Dave Rose on BYU TV and BYU Radio here in Studio C. And we are now joined by the second of our two special guests this evening. He's one of 52 players to score 1,000+ points as a Cougar. He's a double-double machine and a newly married man. He is Yoli Childs. Hello, Yo. Good to see you. Let's come back. You just noted off air that last time you were here was after a win over Utah. So hope maybe the good, good vibes.
Good
you got Utah this week, so let's do it again.
Good karma.
How do you like the in-state weeks?
It's awesome. It's an amazing environment, and it's a game that just sticks with you. So every game's important, and you get hyped for every game. But these rivalry games, these in-state games, are a little bit different, and it's really exciting.
How would you describe your junior season so far?
It's been good. It's been good so far. Not great. I think there's definitely things that I can improve on, and we can improve on as a team. But it's always exciting to see the things you need to improve on because you can get so much better.
So on that note, what do you think you've been improving on, maybe season to season through your BYU career?
I've been playing a lot more confident throughout my career. I think that's typical for a lot of guys as they get older. I feel like my pace has gotten a lot better. I feel like I've become a better playmaker this year. Yeah, those kind of things.
How about, I think range is one of the things people note when they see how well you shot the three maybe late in last season and making threes early in this season. How important is it that you be a deeper shooter that way?
Oh, it's really important for our team and for our offense. I think when you have 5 guys out on the court or 4 guys out on the court that can shoot the ball, it really spaces out the defense and makes defensive schemes a lot harder. How mindful are you of things like double-doubles in the course of a game? Not at all. I'm mindful if I'm rebounding hard. That's the thing. Scoring, I don't really think about that too much. I don't care for that too much. But I definitely take pride in rebounding, and if I'm not rebounding the ball well, then I know I'm probably not playing as hard as I should be.
Coach Rose, what makes Yoli a successful rebounder?
Well, he really has a knack for the ball, but he does a lot of work early too. He moves people around, and then he knows angles really well. I think one of the things that he really mentioned that is an unbelievable improvement is as a playmaker. I mean, look at his assist numbers to turnovers. I mean, for a big guy, I think he's second on our team in assists right now. And for a big guy, your big guy is usually the guy you kind of throw it into, and he either shoots it or kind of facilitates or turns it over, because he gets double teamed a lot, and his ability to be able to find. We probably left quite a few assists on the floor with some of the easy baskets our guys have missed for him, but he's making the right plays, doing the right thing. I think he's thrown quite a few really nice backdoor passes, so I think his playmaking ability has really improved.
Second in assists to this guy. What can you say about TJ Haas as that all-around guy that can really do it all on the floor for you guys?
Kind of awkward because you're right next to me, but TJ's a stud. He's an absolute stud. I told him the other day, he made an unbelievable play in practice. I just walked up to him, I'm like, I love playing with you. I'm so happy you're my teammate. It's so fun to play with TJ. He makes everyone around him better. He gets a lot of easy looks for guys, and he's a competitor. When I committed to BYU, that was one of the cool things for me. I was like, man, I get to be 4 years with TJ Haas. That's so cool. After he kicked my butt in high school. So he's a stud, and I love playing with this dude. Yeah,
Teej, when do you first recall meeting or seeing or playing with or against Yoli Childs?
Well, the first time I played against him was my senior year in the state tournament, and we had a battle. We went to double overtime, and that was a super fun game. But we started writing towards the end of my mission a little bit, talking about what we plan on doing and the things ahead of us. And then when we got back, we just got back to work.
So you guys have some goals to reach then, I'm sure you talked about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So 1,000-point club, 1,000-point club. Nick Emery, 1,000-point club. It's a pretty good nucleus to have. 3 guys who've all hit that career mark. What does that number mean to you? And what does it mean to have, again, 3 guys on the same roster doing it at that level right now for BYU?
Oh, it's huge to know you have a lot of scoring options. I think it's important to note that we have a lot of other really good scorers too. Aren't necessarily at the 1,000-point club, but we have guys like Jashir that can go off any night. But just having guys like that is huge, and it makes it hard for the defense to single out a certain guy.
Okay, what do you think about being 5-4 at this point?
It's definitely disappointing. That's not where we want to be. I think our team's better than a 5-4 team for sure. And I've been really impressed with the intensity in practice this week. We've made a big emphasis on defense, on going back and getting kills and focusing on that and making that our priority. And I think the emphasis we've made in practice this week is really impressive, and I think it will show.
You're happy to get one more teammate back tomorrow too, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
How's he looking to you?
He looks good. I mean, Nick's Nick. He can come in and go off, and he can make tough shots, and he plays so hard on defense. He's very competitive. He keeps the ball in front, and I think both of those things are going to be huge for us.
And right back into it with Utah State. Quick word about the Aggies from you before we head to break. What do you see from them, and what kind of challenge did they pose to you tomorrow night?
I mean, they're playing really well. They're playing together. They're rebounding really well. We're looking at their rebounding numbers. What are they out-rebounding teams by like 14 or something like that? So they play hard. They play together. They play as a team, and they have a lot of really good shooters as well. So it'll definitely be a challenge, but I don't think it's anything we can't handle.
Great opportunity tomorrow night. Stick around for our next segment, okay? All right, that's Yoli Childs. Check out BYU Sports Nation right now with Kiki Solano. It's the latest in Cougar sports with a social media twist. Watch it right now on the BYU Sports Nation Twitter, Facebook, IGTV, and YouTube accounts. Coming up next, our debut of a new Rose Show feature called 3 in the Key and some Q&A for Yoli and TJ as BYU Basketball with Dave Rose continues.
BYU Basketball with Dave Rose is brought to you by Siegfried & Jensen, helping Utah families for over 25 years. And by Nissan, innovation that excites.
Are you looking for a better way to deliver results this year? Expanding your product line or building new locations? How about your online presence? Does it need a boost? Maybe you just want to put a little more distance between you and the competition. Tap into the powerful engine of BYU Athletics and let us put together a plan unique to your business. We can provide you with the tools designed to enhance your brand on a local, regional, or national level. We invite your team to join ours. For details, email sponsorship@byu.edu today.
Like caramel? Let's hear it.
More smoke. She's checking out. She is checking out. Watching you. Turn right around and smile. And right there. Thank you.
So pretty, and where I would be today.
Welcome back to BYU Basketball with Dave Rose, presented by Siegfried and Jensen. Here's a look at some of the Cougars in the pros. You see Jimmer continuing to light it up over there in China. I saw a nice post from Brandon Davies today from his play over in Lithuania. We see our other guys playing professionally overseas, including brother of TJ, Tyler Haws. Welcome back to BYU Basketball with Dave Rose and presented by Siegfried and Jensen. Time now for a new feature on the show. We're calling it 3 in the Key, and our guests tonight, TJ Haws and Yoli Childs, and head coach Dave Rose, will all try to answer some personality-based multiple-choice questions regarding a BYU player, as presented by the player himself. And tonight's 3 in the Key contributor is junior wingman Zach Sellius. So Zach, take it away.
Hey guys, let's see how well you know me. Question 1, what is my favorite TV show?
All right, question, favorite TV show, and here are the options. Is it New Girl, Friends, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, or The Office? Yo, what are you going to say?
Those are all great. Those are all Zach. I feel like he watches all of those.
Favorite show?
I'm going to go with New Girl.
You're going New Girl. TJ?
I'm going with The Office.
Office? Coach Rose?
The Office.
The Office. Let's see what we have.
I'm going with The Office.
My answer is Friends.
Oh.
I'm not going to lie, that's the worst of them. We're going to have to talk to him tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, a surprise
I was going to
ending
go
there.
with
All right.
Friends, but I thought TJ knew him really well.
All right, question 2.
Question 2, what is my favorite superhero?
Okay, we have 4 options for you here. Favorite superhero? Iron Man, Aquaman, Superman, or Spider-Man? Yo.
I'm going Spider-Man. He looks like a Spider-Man kind of guy.
TJ?
Superman.
Coach Rose?
Superman.
Coach, don't follow me.
All right, Zach, what do you have for us?
We picked 3 different ones. We have a chance.
My answer is Iron Man.
So far, no matches.
Okay.
But we've got one more question for you. See if we can nail this one.
Let's all pick 3 different ones.
Question 3, what is my favorite NBA team?
All right, NBA team. I'm sure you guys talk about this all the time. So here are your options. Golden State Warriors, Utah Jazz, Los Angeles Lakers, or Chicago Bulls? Yoli.
Jazz.
TJ?
It's got to be.
Jazz.
Coach Rose?
Golden State Warriors.
No. It's only Tej.
Let's see.
My answer, Chicago Bulls.
I was going to say Chicago Bulls because Jim Boylan just got the head job there.
And he has stumped the panel on week 1.
God.
Wow.
We're not keeping track, right?
No, this is not a competition this year. But yes, but I think you all need to get in a room and just share your feelings and talk a little bit more about Zach and his life.
I'll tell you what, I know what I'll be asking next week's guest before practice.
Yeah, exactly. Tell me what the answers are.
What they asked you and what the answers are.
Here we go.
I'm not going to come out here and go 0 for 3 every day.
By the way, we have a special guest involved with all 3 of you here on our front row here to my right. Who do we have here in studio? Yoli, who did you bring?
Brought Megan Childs.
Okay. TJ?
Brought my wife, Lauren.
Okay. And Coach Rose?
I brought my wife. Cheryl.
We have the 3 Ys right there.
3 of them are all sitting together.
Yeah. Like we planned it. Good job. Thanks for you all being here. Appreciate that. From questions about Zach to questions now for TJ and Yoli from the audience and social media. We start off with social media and Jilly and Michelle on Instagram for either player. So we'll say both guys. Between basketball, school, a social life, and everything else, how are you able to balance your life day to day? Yo?
It gets a little stressful at times, especially now we got finals coming up and school's so busy. But you know, I think it's something we've done our whole lives. You know, it's what we're used to. We've been doing it since high school. We did it as kids. And it also helps when you're a married guy and you get to go home and just be with the person that you love, too.
TJ?
I think a huge thing for me is being present where you are. You know, when you're in practice, it's all about practice and what you're doing. And when you're in school, you focus on class and getting your homework done and getting ready for tests. And it's nice to be able to go home to my wife and be able to kind of push that stuff aside and just be able to spend time with her. So I think the biggest thing for me is just being present where I am.
Okay. Question number 2 here from social media, at Henry_Morris32 for Yoli. Where do you feel like you've improved most since last year, and how do you feel that has best served the team?
Like I said earlier, probably my playmaking. I think the game slowed down a lot for me. I feel like I'm at the point where I've played so many games that when the double team comes and things like that and the defense is applying pressure, I don't think about it as much as I used to. And
more of an instinct thing?
Yeah, it's a lot easier to just take the ball out and make a read.
Okay. For TJ, for social media, or they're Ashton H on Instagram, is there a simple fix to make defensive improvements, or is there more that goes into it than just saying we're going to fix it?
You know, I talked about it a bit earlier. I think a huge thing is effort and having a lot of energy on defense. But our coaches talk about it all the time. It's about defending as a team. We've played against a lot of great players so far this year, but it really takes all 5 guys. It's not just one person guarding that guy. It's everyone being together.
Okay, at Rybend3 on Twitter for Yoli, how has your 6,000 calorie diet changed since you've been married, and is it approved by your wife?
Oh, that's long gone. That was the freshman year diet when I was coming in as an 18-year-old trying to play with the big boys. So I don't necessarily need that anymore.
Okay, for TJ from Cam Ty on Facebook, congrats on 1,000 points. And what other goals are you hoping to achieve this year, either individually or for the team?
The biggest goal for me this year is to go to the NCAA tournament. That's something that, you know, I've always wanted to do since I was a kid, and we talk about it all the time as a team, and that's been our goal since June, and we're working every day to get there.
Well, TJ and Yoli, thanks for the answers, and thanks for making our Rose Show debut a fun one. I appreciate your time, guys.
Thanks for
having me. Stick around here as we head to the break. We'll tell you, we want you to know that you can enjoy a full hot breakfast buffet, dinner Monday through Wednesday, a kitchen and a large grassy backyard along the Provo River Trail, all at the Residence Inn Marriott in Provo. We're back with some closing comments from the coach as BYU Basketball with Dave Rose continues here on BYU TV and BYU Radio.
The big moment, championship game, down by 2, 10 seconds left. Inbound pass, Johnson's got the ball.
In their hearts, your kids have always been champions. It's only a matter of unlocking their potential. So give them a place to dream. A place where, every day, they can shape themselves into what they can become.
They made it! And the crowd goes wild!
Champions start here. Sport Court.
Please give it up for the Greg Award-winning band, Dream!
I think this concert will be a little bit different because I'm going to throw out some super awesome dance moves tonight. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm a terrible dancer. I think the best part of Train over the years is that we can play songs for little kids and their grandparents, and they all have smiles on their faces. That's really what I always shoot for during a live performance, is that the whole place is filled with a little bit of joy.
I do this really weird face that I call the constipated chicken.
Arden, your dad is an actor.
Well,
your mom regretfully told us that she snores.
Yes, I hear to the wall.
I understand that you beatbox and drum on yourself. Can you give us a little taste of that? Yeah, it's bad.
next time Kindness One reaches his breaking point.
Bike has broken down and I've started a massive Indian traffic jam.
I get to fulfill every Englishman's dream.
Drinking tea in Darjeeling.
An encounter with Buddha leads me to the happiest people on earth. And the warm welcome I receive at a Calcutta orphanage inspires my next surprise gift.
So they drink from the unsafe water.
All right, so welcome back to our closing segment of BYU Basketball with Dave Rose, presented by Siegfried and Jensen. And here once again is our broadcast schedule for this week as the Cougars continue this run of 3 consecutive in-state games. They had Weber last weekend. Tomorrow night, it'll be Utah State at the Marriott Center. And Coach Rose 4-0 against the Aggies since becoming BYU head coach. So the Aggies and Cougars with a 9 o'clock Eastern time tip, meaning radio pregame at 8 o'clock. And then, of course, both BYU TV and BYU Radio for your outlets there. And then on Saturday from Salt Lake City, Vivint Smart Home Arena, it is BYU and Utah. And again, that'll be a noon Eastern time, or rather noon Mountain time tip, 2 o'clock Eastern on both ESPNU and BYU Radio. We're back on BYU Basketball with Dave Rose, brought to you by Siegfried and Jensen, presented in part by Smith's as well. Low prices, market fresh at Smith's. Well, Coach, the West Coast Conference, almost a year into, or rather almost a month into the season. And for the most part, it's been looking like a top 10 league right now. It's
pretty impressive, especially the Maui Classic Championship by Gonzaga was extremely impressive, beating the #1 team in the country at the time, Duke. But I think that San Diego and LMU and San Francisco have had really good preseasons to get off to a great start. And surprising, St. Mary's went through a skid there where they lost 2 in neutral court games and then 2 home games. So. And they're going to be good. That's going to be a really hard team to beat. So I think that the league has really, got some teams in here that will compete against each other. And hopefully the numbers, it's used to be just about who beat who, but now you need to have
it's quadrants and it's nets.
A lot of numbers of other teams playing really well. And then you have a chance to beat them. That's what you're looking for.
Well, St. Mary's doesn't lose 4 games in a row like BYU doesn't lose 3 games in a row. It's a rare thing for both programs, and you're all about getting it turned right now.
Yeah, and we're playing the team that kind of had their way with St. Mary's. I mean, Utah State beat them good. And,
one of their wins, yeah.
And one of their wins in Vegas. So, it is so hard to schedule, and I would prefer not to play 3, in-state games in a row with the emotion that it is, and it's just kind of the way that the dates fell, this year. But and the way I feel, I don't feel bad for me. I feel bad for our guys because this is a real taxing time on them, and hopefully that we can get this one on Wednesday and know it's going to be a dogfight. But then the game up at Salt Lake and. The middle of the morning should be pretty fun too.
When you talk about it being a taxing time, we're hitting final exam period.
And also the emotion of it. Christmas around the world is always tough because we play 2 road games during that week, and we've tried to kind of limit the travel, but this year we ended up, having to schedule that game out in Illinois, and so that's a tough trip out and a tough trip back. But those things are everyone's dealing with all those types of things. But the in-state emotion is what the guys really look forward to, and it comes real quick, and then it just is gone, and we don't get it again. I'd like to kind of space that out a little bit.
Speaking of schedule, home game tomorrow night, home game next Wednesday. Then you're not at home for, I think, 4 weeks.
Yeah, and that's another part that kind of got us this year. And when they took the 2 games away from us, from the league, I mean, it is so hard to get teams to come to the Marriott Center. And so we worked, and it was a late decision to do that. There's a lot of these games are scheduled years in advance, and so we went out there trying to find, a home game and a road game, and it just didn't work out the way we wanted it as far as the types of teams that we wanted to bring in here. So the San Diego State game, we got first, which was a home and home. We knew they were coming back, and then we wanted a home and home starting on the road, and then we wanted to get a home game, and couldn't find it, so we took a really good game in Mississippi State game. A lot of it is because of where they're ranked and what we can do if we get there and win it, what it does for us. But I wanted to let Shear go back to kind of where he played his his high school career, and let him play in front of his friends and family.
And you saw they set the time for that one. That'll be a 10 o'clock Mountain Time start. That's still to come. All right. Thanks for the first debut show. Good show.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right. We'll do it again next week. We'd love to see you fans here in Studio C for next week's show. To request seats, go to BYUCougars.com/Rose Show next Monday or Tuesday to reserve a spot in next week's audience. We'll talk to you next Tuesday at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain. For TJ Haas, Yoli Childs, and head coach Dave Rose, I am Greg Wrubell. And this has been our debut edition of BYU Basketball with Dave Rose, live from Studio C. We'll talk to you next week. Go Cougs!
Tim Daly Ford in Spanish Fork offers a large inventory of Ford vehicles, including a selection of cars and trucks, providing a range of transportation choices. From the Ford Fusion sedan and the Edge crossover SUV to a range of pickups including the F-150. Each product line comes with options to enhance performance, comfort, and safety. Think Ford, think Tim Daly Ford in Spanish Fork.
Hi, I'm Emily Starr. And I'm Lisa Valentine Clark. You're watching BYU TV. See the good.